The Marvel Cinematic Universe is probably the second or biggest franchise of all time. I know it's at least second because James Bond's bigger. There are officially 20 movies in this franchise, so I am going to rank every single one of them. Yep, all 20 Marvel movies with the snap of my fingers. This franchise started in 2008. I've been watching it pretty much the whole time. It's actually since the Avengers I've been watching it, but I've seen most of these movies. You guys know I'm mainly a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's by far my favorite franchise of all time, and I'm going to rank every single MCU movie. And this video is going to be very long, or long for my usual videos, so make sure you have enough time. The length of this video, just make sure you have enough time. Alright, let's dive right in at number 20. This movie was number 17 on my list back when there were only 18 Marvel movies, but last time I did put this movie at the bottom. I watched it again, and this movie is really boring when it is in action. Thor: The Dark World has a lot of action in it. It actually is pretty fun when it's fun. When it's not fun, it's boring. It's pretty boring. The movie doesn't really add on to Thor's character, in my opinion. I don't really think it develops him any longer. I just think this is the worst Thor movie and the worst movie in the MCU. It's still not bad, but I've only seen it twice now, so what? And for number 19, we have by far the most forgettable movie in the MCU. I always forget this movie when I'm talking about it. The Incredible Hulk is completely meh. The movie has a lot of cool action sequences, but overall, the movie is just really forgettable. It doesn't really tie into the MCU enough for me to even call it an MCU movie. It's not one I particularly watch a lot. I still think it's a fine movie. I just don't love it. And for number 17, number 18, sorry. We got Iron Man 2. This movie is one of those Marvel movies they're like, okay, did you need to happen? I'm serious. You talk about the most pointless movie in the MCU, you can either bring up Incredible Hulk or Iron Man 2. I think Iron Man 2 has a lot of cool action sequences and it's pretty fun, but it kind of is just Iron Man again, but it just doesn't have all the goodness of the first Iron Man. I don't hate this movie. I still really like this movie, kind of. I haven't seen it that much, but it's fine, I guess. For number 17, we got Thor 1. The first Thor. This movie had the same problem I do with The Dark World. In fact, I think that The Dark World has better action sequences in this movie. However, what the problem with Thor is that it's boring when there's not action. I think it's less boring than The Dark World when there's not action in The Dark World, it's very boring. This movie, it's actually boring, not too boring. The movie overall, it is pretty awesome at times. I do think Thor's action was great. But overall, it does feel like a bit of a rushed film to get to the Avengers. It's still a good movie. I just don't particularly remember it or care to watch it a lot. And for number 16, we got the first Avenger, Captain America. I like this movie. Not one I watched a lot, but I like it. I think it has some great action sequences, great characters. I like the whole way it's set up. It's one of the better films out of Phase 1. Phase 1 is the worst phase for Marvel movie because half of them you split Phase 1 in half of the good and the bad. Like, well over half of them are, like, in the half of Marvel movies that you really don't remember. I didn't say I hate this movie. In fact, it is a very enjoyable movie. But it is flawed. I still give it, like, a high rate. If I were to review it, I haven't done that yet. But if I were to review it, it would be a high rating. But the Captain America action's pretty great in this movie. And for number 15, we got Doctor Strange. I really like Benedict Cumberbatch in this movie. However, what the problem I have with this movie is that it does just feel like another Marvel movie. At this point in the cinematic universe, you're like over 15 movies. It got a bit tiring by that point, but overall, I still think this movie's very good. I really like this movie. I've seen it multiple times. I think it's super cool. It has issues, but I still really like Doctor Strange. It's actually pretty cool. Number 14, we got the newest entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ant-Man and the Wasp is very good. I highly recommend this. A lot of you probably haven't even seen Ant-Man and the Wasp by the time I'm making this. But if you haven't, you gotta check this movie out. It's super fun, super cool. My first review for this movie, I was like, it's really good, but I had a lot of issues with it. Then my spoiler review, which came out earlier today as I'm recording this. It didn't come out earlier today as I'm recording this, as you're watching this. But I did, I said I actually thought about it overnight, and I really thought it was better as I thought about it. And I thought about it even more, and I like it even more. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp has so many fun moments. It's one of the more fun MCU movies, like just fun movie. It's very simple. I like the simple aspect to this movie. It's not better than the first, but I still think this movie is a really good Marvel movie. Because a lot of the problems other Marvel movies have, like sometimes humor compromises emotional, like actual good scenes, and the villain wasn't great, but overall, still a pretty good movie. And for number 13, or 14, what? 13, sorry, Ant-Man. Still think this movie's so good. It's fun, it's exciting, it's enjoyable, it's intense. I love the shrinking aspect of this movie. This movie is simple. It's one of the most simple MCU movies, and it works. I have a few complaints with this movie. It has the same problems a lot of other movies have, where humor. I think it's just the villain in this movie that really, really, really bothers me, and it kind of ruins a lot of intentional ones. I didn't like anything about Yellow Jacket, but I thought the humor was fantastic in this movie. I think the first Ant-Man is better than Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's in the lower half of the MCUs, but I still really like this movie. Alright, so for number 12, you want to talk about an underrated MCU movie? Talk about Iron Man 3. Last time I reviewed this movie, I was actually thinking like my opinion will probably go down in how much I like it. I watched it a second time, I like it even more. The movie is actually really well made when you think about it. I have the same relationship I have with this movie with The Fallen Kingdom. I see why people hate it, but I really like it. That's just me and Iron Man 3's relationship. The movie has great action sequences. The movie shows who Tony Stark is better than the two Iron Man movies before. It's not the best Iron Man movie. In fact, it's not even close to being the best movie with Iron Man in it, because he's basically in all of them. But this movie is super solid, and Iron Man 3 is it's a great movie. If I were to say it's one of my favorite MCU movies, I'd be lying. For number 11, we have a movie that I really liked when I did my other MCU ranking. And when I did my review, I was so positive with it. I thought it was so well made. I loved all the action sequences. I loved the villain. I watched it again. I still really like it. I don't like it as much. But Avengers Age of Ultron is still pretty great. It's in the lower half of MCU, I guess, for me. Because it does have a lot of problems. The Thor side quest doesn't really even tie into Ragnarok when you think about it. But overall, the movie is very fun. Very good. I really liked Ultron. I still think he's one of the better MCU villains. I like all the new characters. The CGI in this movie might be some of the best Marvel's ever been. I believe it's the highest budget for an MCU movie, and it shows in this movie. The movie closes off Phase 2 and sets up Phase 3 in a great way. Alright, we're in the top 10. These are the 10 Marvel movies that I really liked. I liked every single one of these. Number 10 is the only one I give an 8 out of 10 in this entire top 10. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 captures the magic of the first, while I do not think it's better than the first. That's out wildish. The first is amazing. But still, Volume 2 has such charm to it, has such things. I love the villain in this movie. I thought the villain is just great. I don't want to really spoil who it is, but I thought the guy who played the villain fantastic. The movie's great. Baby Groot was awesome too. The movie's really good. Number 9, we have the worst MCU movie that I give a 10 out of 10. Thor Ragnarok. I think this movie's hilarious. I don't think it's the most well-written Marvel movie. Tonally switching, or it switches back the tones. It's a bit weird, but overall I actually think the movie flows. In fact, one way you can describe this movie is organized chaos. Ragnarok is organized chaos. That's fine with me. It's organized, then it works. It is a bit of a mess, but I love everything about the movie. It's the funniest Marvel movie. Outstanding. It might even be the most fun Marvel movie, for me at least. It's such a great movie. I love Ragnarok. In fact, if you were to ask me right after it came out of Ragnarok, where do you think this movie ranks in MCU? I would have said, like, number 2 back then. I'm looking back, it's number 9, but I love this movie. Also, it gave me Korg. That has to be in the top 10. If a movie has Korg in it, it's going to be in the top 10. Woo! Number 8, we have the original MCU movie, Iron Man. I watched this movie again. I watched it recently again. And God, talk about a good movie. Oh my God, this movie's great. I love it. It's actually the first MCU movie I did watch. I watched it and Avengers back to back. But God, I love this movie. I love everything about it. I think the villain's fine as I'm still not a fan of Obadiah, but everything else in this movie makes me forgive Obadiah. I think it's so well made. It's actually quite amazing if you think about it. If anybody ever one way that a lot of people can bring it up is, a lot of time when a movie's like, oh, that trailer looks really bad, then it could be like, well, what if that's the next Iron Man movie? It could be amazing. Iron Man's great, and it started one of my favorite franchises of all time. Alright guys, I guess we're not in that big epic moment yet where we're in like the top 5. But number 6, the cultural phenomenon, that's what people have been calling it now, Black Panther, the cultural phenomenon. I've talked about this movie, let's see, 1, 2, 3... This will be my 4th time talking about this movie. I'll probably talk about it again at the end of the year, so I'll keep it brief, but I love Black Panther. It's not my favorite MCU movie, it's one of a lot of people's favorites, but it has some pacing issues. It has a weird plot twist, it has a weird plot change, I guess, and I didn't really like that. But I forgive those 2 problems for the rest of the movie. The movie's fantastic. And Killmonger is awesome! We are in the top 5. These 5 Marvel movies are above that 9.5 area on my rating system. All 5 of these. Number 5 for me is going to be number 1 for a lot of people. Maybe number 2, maybe. Let's just talk. The Avengers. This was the movie that, okay, so let's see here's what it was like watching Iron Man and Avengers back to back. I watched Iron Man and I was like, that movie was pretty good. Then you watch, and I was like thinking about it a lot. Then you watch Avengers, you completely forget about Iron Man. You just forget about it, because God is Avengers good. Guys, talking about 20 movies really makes you cough. Sheesh. You gotta talk. Avengers is great. It assembles the team in the perfect mix. Loki is one of the best MCU villains, probably like number 2 or 3. Not my favorite, but he's in that top 3 area. I think everybody in this movie is great. My one problem I do have with this movie is that I don't like Captain America or Thor's design in it. That's my one problem. I love everything else about this movie. But one thing I like about this movie is that it's not like everybody has an individual character arc. They all have the same arc, and it's working as a team. The movie's so well made. Number 4. I put this movie at number 2 last time. Spider-Man Homecoming is the Spider-Man I always asked for. I like Spider-Man 1, the 2002 one. I really like the movie. It's still great. Spider-Man 2 is amazing. I love Spider-Man 2. Then Spider-Man 3 is bad. The 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies are forgettable and dumb. And then we got Homecoming. And God, where to start? This is my favorite Spider-Man movie. It's better than Spider-Man 2. The original Spider-Man is better than any Spider-Man movie, and it's the best you've ever seen Spider-Man. He's back in action. It's just so well done. The movie, it's not amazing. Actually, it's quite amazing, actually. But I just love this movie. I love Tom Holland as Peter Parker. I love the villain. The movie's really great. And number 3. The third best MCU movie is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. You gotta give props to a flawless movie. I am not joking, The Winter Soldier's flawless. I love everything about this movie. I really liked the villain. I thought Pierce was a great villain in this movie. I thought the way it was developed, the way it was made, it was like a spy thriller in the form of a Captain America movie. Come on! If you were on my stages in the MCU when this movie came out, it was basically like, first Avenger, I was like, I liked Captain America, but he's definitely not my favorite MCU character. Then after the Avengers, he would probably be like, of the 4 Avengers, my least favorite Avenger. Then you watch this movie and you're like, I think he's the best. Or at least the second. This movie saved the MCU for me. If this movie was bad, I would have had a big problem, because I like Iron Man 3. I'm not a huge fan of The Dark Worlds, but if you were to take it, it would have been like Iron Man 3, The Dark Worlds, and then the Winter Soldier if that movie wasn't so good. It would have been 3 disappointing movies in a row. Nope, this movie blew it out of the park. It blew everything you like out of the first Avenger and the Avengers out of the park. Little thing at the beginning. But alright guys, number two, the second best MCU movie, for me, at least, maybe not for you, but for me at least it is Civil War. Love this movie. I love it. I love everything about it. Love the characters, love the visuals, love the action, love the dialogue, I guess, love the score. This movie's flawless, honestly. It is. There are a couple special effects problems with it, but overall it's flawless. I've stressed to the fact that I love Civil War. I think it's even better than The Dark Knight. It's better than The Dark Knight. You want to talk about flawless superhero movie? You gotta talk about this movie. The number 1 best MCU movie. Alright, this movie is the best. This is the best. Doing a process of elimination, the best MCU movie is Avengers Infinity War! You gotta let me. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the characters. I love the villain. Okay. I've talked about this movie 5 times now. This is my 5th time, but God, do I love this movie. I love everything about Infinity War. You want a dark, funny, action-packed movie. You got Infinity War. And it all blends together in the perfect way. And there's even this, and it's even like 2 hours, it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. But it feels not that long. There's never not something going on. There's always something going on. It doesn't waste time. It doesn't waste time to get right to your Thanos action. The Infinity Stones are cool. I think Thanos is the best MCU villain. Infinity War is the best MCU movie, and I don't need to talk about that anymore. I just love this movie. That was my ranking of every single MCU movie. Hope you guys enjoyed it. What are your guys' rankings? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm not going to be uploading any videos this weekend. There's nothing to talk about. I'll do a couple Hotel Transylvania reviews next week. I'll see Hotel Transylvania 3 on Friday. So yeah, see you guys next time. Bye! Why do I always do bye? It's just goodbye.